Welcome. In the next couple of minutes, I'd like to show you how we at Prisma use a technique called crypto shredding to deal with data protection regulations. And for this, we're using, for the whole talk, a little pizza shop. So I run my own pizza shop, and we founded it this year, and it's really successful. So in a traditional system, when you place an order in a pizza shop, what's probably happening in the background? Well, you log in, you put in all your data in your baskets, and then your order is stored. When you come back in a second, maybe because you changed your mind, and you wanted to change your order, this thing is loaded back, and for example, now a candy is put in, and this is written to the database back. So at Prisma, we decided for a different architectural style called event sourcing. Our whole world is based on the idea of events. And coming back to our pizza shop, how would placing an order look like in a pizza store, in an event source system? Well, if the customer logs in, an order created event is created. And then the customer keeps on adding products to the basket. Keeps on adding, and then, boom, well, the customer decides to not have ice cream, well, then this product added event is compensated by a removed event. And then when the job is done, or the order is done, the order confirmed event is written. So what you see here is the most important representation of data we have, which is called the event log. And the idea is that this log is immutable. We don't change it, we're not touching, we just keep on appending business events. And there's a second quite important representation of data, which we call, in our example, the order slip, or in more technical terms, the application state. So this is the thing we're actually using in our application to work with the data. How to get from the event log to this order slip here? Well, that's actually quite simple. So we go through the list of events, and then we just keep on applying information here. So we're adding and removing, and at the end, we come back to a thing which is really, really similar to what we've seen before in our traditional system, but now based entirely on events. So some of you might already think, how does this comply with GDPR? So this guy is telling me something about an immutable log, and I already see customer data up there. So this is customer Simona up there. And then I have the general data protection regulation, which is basically your right to have your data erased. And for me, the two are actually a quite good match, looking at it at the first glance, because the event log is a perfect audit log. So in the case of an audit, there is a lot of transparency of what has happened in the system. For example, that even a product was removed. But of course, if customers ask us to delete their data, well, then you have on the one side your right to have your data erased, coming in from GDPR, and then you have an immutable log. So what to do now? Well, there are a couple of approaches. The most obvious one is probably to delete the data. So what I've done is I've deleted the event containing Simona's data here, but it has a problem because now we have a consistency issue. Our view of the world is not the same anymore. It's a bit like taking this pre-Spotify tape here, so this is what we use to listen to music, and just cutting out a little bit of the tape here, gluing it together and listening to it. Well, it's still music, but it's not the same information anymore. But there's a different approach to deleting the event. What we could do is we modify the event. So we could override the personal information if Simona asks us to do so with some random data. Well, also here there are a couple of issues. One issue is to process in real life, million event long log is actually quite cumbersome and takes some time. So it's a technical challenge, but probably doable. On the other hand side, the second issue is, well, now we are going away from our immutable log, but we're changing stuff. Now, if I would be an auditor going to a system which claims to be immutable, now people are changing information, I'm not sure if this product edit event is actually the original one or if it was also changed. So we're using the value of our event log in terms of an audit. Luckily enough, there is a third option Prisma is using, which is called crypto shredding. Crypto shredding is the encryption of sensitive information, and, if required, to delete the key. So what is happening now with our event log in terms of crypto shredding? Well, now there's a second thing coming in, which is our keys. So what we do now is we have still an order created event, and this is the one which is written at the very beginning when Simona logs in for the first time. But we're not writing her information there in clear text. No, it's encrypted, and it's encrypted with Simona's key. And both are important and necessary to read data. So now coming back to our order slip. What do we need to create this order slip out of our list of events? Well, it's not too different to what it was before, except that we now need a key, which is stored in a highly available key store, by the way. So what happens now if a deletion request comes in? So 1 year later, Simona decides that she's not any longer a customer of my pizza shop, and she hands in an official request to delete her data. Well, this is really simple now, because all we need to do is take Simona's key and remove it from our system. After that, we still have the order of the events, we still have all the events there, but just the customer information of customer Simona is not readable anymore. So let's delete the key and continue. All right, this is how we do crypto shredding. If you are interested in more information, we actually open sourced our approach to crypto shredding, so you can have a look at it. And this brings us to the end of our little talk. So what are the key takeaways? Well, first of all, Prisma's backend system is heavily based on events. And to be compliant with GDPR, we use a technique called crypto shredding, which allows us to forget our customers' data. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm looking forward to answer your questions later.